My name is Jennelle Gordon. I'm a tantric intimacy sexpert. That means through one-on-one private coaching, group masterminds, global luxury retreats, and online courses.
Women today are expecting men to just accept them as these like CEO boss babes. And there's nothing wrong with being successful,
right?
But they're not willing to like bring anything into the table.
Why that is that women are afraid to kind of sink into their man a little bit.
And yeah, women want to have control. It's simple.
World leaders who are male, and typically I think
good,
leadership...
that's a good thing. Women should not be in positions of extreme leadership like presidents. We're too emotional. I was trafficked for a decade. I was a product of the state. And so I speak from experience when I say, no little girl when they're 4 or 5 says, I want to grow up and be a hooker. For me, it's not about sex. Like the posture that I teach is yab yum. I'll have that any day with a guy over sex. The purpose of that is when you believe in obviously energy center, when they're connecting and they're sitting in an embrace and he's holding her, every energy center is aligned from root to crown. So when those are together, it's a wave of energy that's passing through both of you.
My name is Jennelle Gordon. I'm an intimacy tantric sexpert. I work with couples just like yourself all over the world who are wanting to have better intimacy and better sex.
I help people save their marriages so that they can have that polarity that gives guys blowjobs every day and women screaming orgasms and everyone's fucking happy. And that's what I do.
Well, I love that. We're here to help.
There it is. Okay. Okay.
There, now we can hear you. You're good.
I don't know what happened. Why did we even set all that up last night?
Well, it was working last night.
I know. I promise you I didn't touch it But anyways, okay. Well, I'm going to try to solve it.
Earlier on Wednesday, and I'll fix it.
Okay. I'm going to try to just do this, and I'll text you later, dear.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, babe. All right. Bye. All right. So that was rough, y'all. Not sure what happened, but essentially somehow we were trying to go live and I lost everyone because it just wouldn't give us any sound or power. But we literally did a test show last night and it worked just fine. So not sure why I have all of this set up if it's not even going to work. And right now, I'm certainly not ignoring y'all, but I'm cleaning up tea that spilled all over my black magic. And if you know, that is not cheap. So I'm trying to get this cleaned up so that my black magic and my switchboard here, what's it called? It's called like a mixer, right? So it doesn't get wet. Anyways, guys, I'm going to read these questions. Jerome, thank you so much for asking. Look, I'm almost done. But you guys know, if you guys stream or if you know people who stream, black magics are not cheap. I don't want to ruin this. Glenn is the GOAT, by the way. And we had this perfectly up and running. See, we have my mics right here. Everything was set. All I had to do was hop on here and just push, basically turn on, push play, and yeah, it didn't work. So give me 30 more seconds. I'm literally cleaning up this tea that I now do not get to drink, which I'm kind of annoyed about. So I apologize if I lost everyone because of the technical difficulties, but the show is going to go on because I say it is. All right, here we go. Let's do this. So I just got out of the shower, if you can't tell. My hair is soaking wet. And that's okay. My vacation was great, Jerome. It was my birthday, so of course we got to celebrate. And hosted my retreat in Morocco, and that was fun. She pulled the plug. Hilarious. What can us average guys do when women want the 1% guy? Wow. That's a great question. That's just such a great question. It's very simple. But you know what I love about that question? It's very much so to the freaking point. Like, this is what's going on today. I think we know this. This is like exactly what's going on today. I had to adjust my camera because now we're just using my laptop. We're not using the fancy camera with the black magic because, I don't know, because it doesn't like me tonight. So I think that the best thing that you can do is like, you can do two options, right? One, you can just say, I'm not 1%. I'm not going to be 1%, probably not right now anyways, or ever. If you don't really see that in your future, it's certainly not going to be in your future. If you do see it in your future, it probably will happen, but probably not for some time. And you probably want to get married before then, you know, or have a partner or you know, a woman, if you will. So I would say the first thing you have to do is you have to understand, you have to be real with yourself. You have to just ask yourself, like, do I want to be a 1%? If no, and the answer for most men is going to be no, and that is okay. That is absolutely okay. There's nothing wrong with being an average 1% guy. Honestly, there's not. Like, I dated one, and I had these conversations with myself where I'm like, I was really okay dating an average guy because
our sexual polarity was very fucking good. And I tend to have looked for men in the past based on procreation. My son is going to be a professional athlete. Like, he just is. His father and uncles were all semi-pro athletes, 7 feet tall. So that's what I went for. But back to your question, Jerome. Decide if you're going to be the 1%. If the answer is no, that's okay. If the answer is yes, you kind of have to just head down, blinders on, and you just have to grind it out and understand that when you get to that place of being the 1%, you're going to have no problems finding a girl. The only problem you're going to have is you're going to have to decipher if that woman really likes you for you or she's just with you for your money. And 9 times out of 10, she's with you for your money. Like, let's just be honest. So again, the grass isn't always greener. Does money make life better, make you happier? I don't know if it makes you happier. It makes life easier. I grew up extremely poor, and I've had the fortunate experiences of being around a lot of money and getting to reap the benefits of people who have a lot of money. And I've had some of the finer things in life myself that I've been able to provide. So I've had both ends of the spectrum. And I will say, having things, having resources, having money, flying first class, staying in 5-star hotels is nicer than being in a freaking shit motel and eating regular food. Like, it's true. And flying coach is not fun, especially if you're flying internationally. It's just not. So with that being said, if you do make it to the 1% and you decide that that's what you want to do, and whatever you decide to do, if you can see it, if you can see it and believe it, it will happen. But that's probably not going to be for everyone. So with that being said, yes, life is sweeter, but then coming along with life being sweeter and having more resources, and you get to have more experiences and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you're now dealing with the fact that you're in the 1% tax bracket, which means that you have to just be able to decide if a woman really wants you for you. There you go. So, with that being said, if you are an average guy, first of all, there's nothing wrong with average. But you have to fixate you don't have to, but it's a good idea to focus your energy on finding someone who, how do I say this, who's also average. All right. So let me just say this. Most truly average woman, we'll just say like middle America. Okay. Because I have a background in middle America, from Texas, but also middle America when I was younger. Most, we'll just say Iowa. Most women, or Illinois or Minnesota, Midwestern states, most Midwestern women are like just your average Midwestern woman who grows up, goes to church, is in 4-H. She's like sewing, baking, doing things like that on the weekends. She's not wilding out in the clubs. Like, she's probably going to be happy finding a man who has a little farm, who makes a little bit of money, nothing crazy, like enough to buy her like a Coach bag, like, once a year or something like that, right? But nothing outlandish. So I think the most important thing that you have to understand is that if you are average and you're average and you're okay with being average and not being in the 1%, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But then I think that you also have to set the standard for an average woman, and you have to be okay with that, right? Because I think that now it's not always the case, but I do think that most of the women who are looking for that 1%, I don't think that all of them are average. I know Kevin Samuels and the likes have shown us otherwise, But the ones who could really probably bag like a 1% guy, I think that they know that they're a little bit above average in some regards, and that they either have the femininity, the charm, the ability to be, because like the 1% kind of go for one or two things, right? It's either you have the 1% that go for, you know, the kind of extremely conservative, kind of plain Jane, the Bill and Melinda Gates of the worlds, if you will, right? That's that 1%. But then you also have the other 1%, like the Jeff Bezos of the world and the Lauren Sanchez, where she's not plain Jane, very demure. No, she's out there. She's like ripped. She's boobs. She's got it all, right? So I think in the 1%, there's a couple categories. And you kind of have to just decide as a woman, like, hey, if I'm getting a 1% guy, it's going to be one of these. He's going to be either A, extremely conservative, think Bill Gates, and I'm going to have to be that way. I'm going to have to be less is more. Don't really put myself together. Just be faithful, be honest, have good values, be loyal, be true, be there for him when he needs me. Don't say much. Also have my own interests and also assist him in charities, this and that, but just be very demure and very wholesome. But then there's also that other 1%, and that other 1%, they like the Lauren Sanchez of the world, right? They like the flashier. Some of them like the work done. So those are the 1% categories, which is not y'all. But I kind of wanted to like break all that down because I think this is a really good question. And I think it's extremely relevant to dating today. Jerome, here's the deal. If you are, and by the way, oh my gosh, let me pause. For y'all at home, I'm fairly certain, actually, I'm very certain that my team's going to take this off. But if you hear abrupt, like if you heard that abruptness and me like scrambling, it's because my system kind of went out. So I had to go old school and just use laptop, camera, sound, etc. And then I spelled tea all over my switchboards, my Black Magic. But I know my team will edit it out, Apple, Spotify, but just giving you that little SOS. Back to Jerome and whether he's average or 1%. So if you're dealing with the fact that you want to be average, that sounds hilarious, but it's true. Like, oh my gosh, the best piece of advice I could give to men is like, own your truth. Don't try to be 1% if you know you're not going to put the effort into being 1%. Don't give up prawn if you don't know in your heart that you want to do it. Don't even do it because you're just wasting. Like, don't do it unless your heart and soul is in it and you're like, not a day is going to go by. I will not look at prawn. I will not do it. I will replace it. I will hire a coach. I will do X, Y, and Z, but I will not be shaken. That's the kind of energy you have to go into it, or it's not going to happen. Same thing with a fitness routine. If you don't every day make some kind of progress for your fitness goals, it's not going to happen. And it's just not going to. And so I think like brutal freaking honesty, just tell yourself, I'm not a 1%. And that's okay. That's okay. And then you have to tell yourself, but I am X, Y, and Z. Know your strengths, play them up, and then come to grips with the fact that there's other women out there who are not 1% and know they're not going to bag a 1% and know that in their heart of hearts, they are okay with having a status quo average man who provides for them, who, you know, protects them, who wants to have a family with them, who wants to maybe just have a nice little church house wedding with about 30 people, like normal stuff that you don't see anymore on social media because social media has made everything seem so elusive and so grandiose and so off the charts. Like, you have to have this proposal, you have to do this, you have to do this. And I travel a lot and I see a lot of times people are just running to get the picture instead of actually enjoying the freaking vacation or wherever they are, right? Like when I was in Africa, I enjoyed the pyramids. I was there. I was meditating. I was doing my mudras. I was like pulling that energy in because I wanted to really feel that, right? So if you're average, it's over, Jerome. Jeremy, you're hilarious. This is fun. By the way, guys, just to let you know, I've actually never really gone hard on YouTube. I just want y'all to know that. I have like, what, 22,000, 20 something thousand, I don't know, followers. But I've never actually said, okay, I'm going to do YouTube like 3 days a week, rain or freaking shine, in Egypt or in France or in Cali. I'm doing it. I've never done that. So I decided to do a little experiment and just, my hair's crazy, y'all, like air dried. This is wild. I was like, I'm going to just see like what happens if I actually commit to YouTube and go hard with you guys. So let's see what happens, because it's kind of fun. Like, I like it. This is a vibe. All right, Jerome, it's not over, but having these, like what we say in my retreats, these adult conversations that need to be had. Like, why do we want to lie to ourselves? Why do we want to lie to ourselves and try to go after that girl that wants that 1%? You have to understand there's women out there that know they are not bagging anyone, even in the 10% or even the 100%. They know that, right? Like, they know that they're going to, I don't want to say settle, but they know that their calling in life is to be average, right? And that is okay. If there was no average, we wouldn't have a scale to have like extraordinary, right? We just wouldn't have that. So I think it's more about, Jerome, deciding what it is that you want in a woman. Like, you have to decide, right? Leaders decide, make a decision, and then stand by it. And no matter what woman you meet, no matter how desperado you feel, go back to, this is what I want in a woman. Now, don't be, I can't say that word, don't be imbalanced about it. Don't be, I want to say the D word, but I can't say it. Like, what is the word I'm looking for? Don't be unrealistic. Like, say your one thing about a woman is that you want, is like, I want a woman who will raise a family and that she will be okay taking care of the children. If she has a side hustle or wants to work too, great. But that's what I want. Know your why, know why you want it, and don't waver, and find a woman who wants to have a family. And I promise you, they're out there, they're freaking unicorns, but especially if they're not trying to get that 1% man, they're out there. And then you have to work backwards, do the work. Where are these women at? Probably in church. Probably in church. They're probably volunteering at the old folks home. I forget what they're called, the like political correct name, or doing bingo with their grandparents, or they're, you know, working at a library, or they're like doing normal things. They're going to the farmers markets, right? They're going to the town events, whatever town you live in. Like, they're going to, you know, like they have those like picnics or events in the square where they'll have like a band and stuff. I grew up in Texas, but also a small town in the Midwest. Like, they're going to those places. If you're going to a bar and trying to bag a wife, good luck. Does it happen? Do people bag wives in the club? Probably. But like, does it last? I don't know. I'm not pulling these people. I think it's more about like, we have to get, like, I tell my son all the time, common sense isn't very freaking common anymore. People don't use it because we live in la la land, because social media and marketing have lied to us and have told us that there's these things that have to happen, have to be in place for us to meet the right person or meet this woman, or she has to be, you know, 36, 24, 36, whatever. And it's like, most women don't look like that. Maybe on Instagram, but like, where are these women in real life? Maybe in Vegas, sure. But Vegas isn't reality. I mean, it is for the people who live in Vegas. Anyways. All right. So I hope that answered your question. We're going to unbox. This has been a weird night, y'all. Like, completely just spilled a giant cup of tea everywhere. So right now I'm being very unsafe with these scissors, but it is what it is. All right. This company is called Fiore, Fiore. What I love about this company, I'm going to show you. Wow. They hooked me up. Wow. Look, guys. So yeah, you see it? Trying to get this in here. There we go. That's what we're unboxing. So I'm going to start with the first one. Damn it, these lights. There. Foria. Foria. All right. So the cool thing about these products are everyday vulva moisturizer with organic botanicals. Ooh, I know how to get it in there now. I can't make this up, guys. Suppositories, organic. You know what that's for. This is in a personal, what's the word? Sexual wellness box. You know exactly what these are for. And if you don't, you probably lie about other things too. So this is their star flagship product, if I'm not mistaken. Fiore. This is Awaken Arousal Oil with none other than CBD. All right. This stuff I have used, so I can honestly vouch for it because I've used it and it is quite nice. I'll explain that in a moment. We have, and I quote, quite literally, like, I don't like, it's just, it is what it is. Okay. So we have sex oil with CBD. And then we have everyday body wash with organic botanicals. Okay. So, you know, so you smell nice. And we have one more. These are made with CBD. These are also made with CBD. These are suppositories that are made with CBD. So why would you use a suppository? Can someone tell me? I was just going to go back through and read some of these comments because I was actually really curious. Sorry. All right. So someone tell me why we're using suppositories in an intimate, a physically intimate or sexual setting. So the crazy thing about this, I just read this because you guys, I'm doing this live. I literally, obviously, I hadn't opened this before. You saw me cut the box open. So this suppository has CBD in it. So someone tell me why we're putting CBD in our anal cavity. Can I say that? I don't know. In our anus. Why are we saying that? Why are we saying that? Why are we doing that? This is absolutely freaking hilarious. Why we're doing that? We are doing that because anything that you put CBD on, what does it do? It's going to relax that area, right? So if we are putting this in our anus, I think that's better than anal cavity. I don't know which one's worse. I just don't want to get in trouble, but it is what it is. So if we're putting a CBD, and I'll show you what they look like, suppository in our anus, what is that going to do? It's going to relax that area. What is that useful for? Now, if you've never experienced anal, I have to tell you it might be for you. I don't want to say that it is for you because not all women are okay with anal. And that is okay. That is absolutely okay. Some women like it. And I will say that it is some of the most intense versions of climax you will have. But it's not for everyone. It is absolutely not for everyone. Some men are not crazy about anal. And I'm not talking about on themselves. In this context, I'm talking about heterosexual couples. And they don't really want to do it. But then I know other men who they're very fascinated by it. And that's really all they want to do. Or not all they want to do, but they want to partake in it often. All right, so we're going to talk about the Starship product and why you should consider using a CBD oil versus it's Foria. So this is Awaken Arousal Oil with CBD. Now, a lot of you freaks out there are using some nasty, you know what, lubricants inside of your body. You might be using the stuff that you found at the adult store, or the stuff that you found at Walmart, or the stuff that it says it's natural ingredients, but all that stuff is causing cancer. Yes, I said it. You're putting chemicals on your genitals and inside your genitals for women, and then we're wondering why we have issues like, I don't know, yoni cancers and prostate issues and, penile issues and things of this nature. Well, if you're putting like foreign chemicals on your genitals, that's probably not the best solution. Like probably not at all. So this company created an alternative, which I've used their products. I can vouch for them. I'm not getting paid. I'm just doing a review on the products because I actually do like them. So this arousal oil is all organic. It's MCT oil, coconut oil, hemp oil. I'm reading it right now. Kava root. Kava is an herb that's very relaxing. A lot of these like Karens, I'll say, these moms that are bored here in OC, I saw some of the TikToks. They didn't want to drink as much, so they were just putting kava and mixing it in with like seltzer water. And then they were saying, oh, I'm getting hot. I'm getting buzzed off that. Kava root, I've been taking it for years in small doses. It's very good at relaxing, calming things. If you're having anxiety, things like that. So imagine if you put this into a lubricant for women, it's a very much so like relaxing, opening effect. Then there's also cinnamon, ginger, vanilla, so cardamom, peppermint, cacao, and then of course you have the CBD. So the good news about these types of things is if you were to be doing some kind of oral and then you were to, have the mouth on the area where this oil was, you're okay. But like if you're using some kind of regular, say you switched from vaginal sex and you're inside down there. I'm trying to word this very, very nicely, right? Very PC. And then all of a sudden something happens and you're not hard anymore, which is very normal. And you need to get hard. And so now maybe she's going to go down on you, but she has to go run and get a towel, this and that, because she had lube that was full of chemicals inside of her body. And she doesn't want to put that inside her mouth. So like this type of thing, you're not doing that, right? So anything with the CBD is going to be good for women. It's going to relax them. It's going to help them to open up more. It's going to help them to feel more lubricated. And then it comes, of course, with the pump. So you can pump it, pump and dump. Just kidding. This is just going to be, some of these products, they're just to build the sexual, like it's, for women, sex is a confidence thing in regards to if they don't feel good in their body or if they feel like they smell or they feel insecure, then they're not going to want to have sex. And if they do, it's probably not going to be very good for you because they're insecure and, they want the lights off and all the weird stuff that women do. All right, so this is going to just be like a clean body wash. A lot of you guys don't realize, but let me ask you this question. How many of you have been going down there and you felt and you smelled something and it wasn't pleasant? I know for a lot of women, a lot of men that this happens. for a lot of women, it happens too, because they are there as well. And it's embarrassing because then they feel like weird that they smell. And then they're like, well, I clean, I do this and that. Why do I smell? Well, you smell because you're eating meat and dairy, but that's a whole nother discussion. But and meat and dairy is very acidic. And for a woman's yoni, it's already acidic. So you're just basically throwing more like irritation, because you're creating more acid in the body. The more acidic the body is, the more chance there can be an imbalance, and then it will smell. The other reason why I think women smell is because they either don't have good hygiene. I don't think that that's the case for most women. I feel like today most women probably have good hygiene, I would hope. But it could be because they're using products that have chemicals, again, creating more acid in an already acidic environment. The yoni is acidic. So then you're taking chemicals and putting the summer's eve and spraying stuff here, there, and everywhere. And then you're wondering why don't I smell good? Why is it like irritating? A lot of times the women could be even often allergic to whatever chemicals they're being sprayed, but they think it's like a good, it's like a good solution. Oh, I smell good. No, you just basically masked some pH issues that you're having in your body, in your yoni, because you're eating too much meat and dairy, which is naturally acidic. And then you put some more chemicals, summer's eve and the likes, on top of it to cover it up, but you're actually just hurting yourself more. Why does it smell like fish though? I'm telling you right now. I promise you on everything. I have never smelled that way. First of all, because I've never eaten meat. I don't eat meat. Never is going to be a stretch, because I have eaten fish. And there was a very brief time in college that I did have meat. Very brief. And then I went back right away. I was like, this is not for me. So since 6th grade, I've eaten plants, essentially. So it does smell like fish because women's pHs are effed. They just are. They're eating lots of meat and dairy. And now all these influencers are like, you got to do this. You got to eat tons of meat, tons of dairy, this and that. And then women are putting that inside their body, which creates more acidic, an acidic environment. The acidic environment creates that smell. Plus they're using the chemicals and products. And that's why this company is a great company. So if you're using this body wash, it doesn't have anything bad in it. It's having some like seed oils, jojoba, aloe, just a bunch of plants. Okay. All right. Let me see this last one. What is this? So it goes for like what you're putting on your body too, because if you are, let's see, again, the same thing. If you're using any kind of, this one is just their everyday body oil. And this is just basically sunflower seed oil, jojoba, sweet almond oil, rosehip oil, which is great, calendula, olive oil. This is a great oil. Wow, I can't wait to use this actually. Frankincense. I make my own oils. I don't trust anyone else. Like I source my organic oils from Morocco or from wherever I am, and then I just make my own. I don't trust, like, you can literally eat off me because I don't put bad stuff in my body. Yes, sometimes inadvertently stuff, I'm just in the environment and it happens, or I'm somewhere traveling. But whatever you're putting on your body, you basically become, because remember, your skin is the largest organ in your body. So if you're putting a bunch of, like, for women, summer's eve and this and that and all these chemicals that they're spraying and putting on their body is absorbing that, and then they're becoming that. It's the same thing with guys too. Guys typically don't use as many products, especially no, because first of all, I don't even like using that word. Body count is stupid. A real lady would never tell. Period. It's just, I think it's trashy to even talk about this publicly, like to like display it. Like, I think that that is a very personal thing. And especially if a woman has some manners and some class about her, she's not going to want to share that publicly in any setting. Any setting. It is just not appropriate conversation. And with the person she loves is in a committed monogamous relationship and or marriage, I actually don't encourage women to say either, because one man is too many. One man is just too many. If you're a guy and you have testosterone running through your blood, you don't want to picture your woman with any guy. One guy, 50 guys, doesn't matter. Like, let's just talk about this for a minute. You say one guy's okay, 5 guys maybe, 10 guys, 50 guys. Like, what? How are we measuring this scale anyways? It's still another lingam that isn't yours. So one is too many. So in my mind, it does not matter what the quote body count is. It matters how the woman carries herself, if she presents herself in a like classy feminine way, and if she's willing to learn and grow and please her spouse and explore with her lover or her husband sexually in the way that suits not just his needs, but both of their needs. And that's something they work on together. Because literally, to me, Adam, I don't to say like what is a high body count for women. Again, that's subjective, because I think for any man who's like a real man who has testosterone running through his blood, if you sit down and talk to him about one guy and you close your eyes and tell him, yeah, I was with this person and he was the love of my life. And we had, the best sex of our life. And we've been together since we were 16 and we made love, all the time and this and that. That's too many. Like, to me, I feel like that's almost worse than a woman who said, oh yeah, I've had like 20 boyfriends, but I wasn't committed to any of them. To me, it's like, because to me, I'm all about intimacy. So sex is a physical act. You can have sex with someone and be literally on another planet in your mind. But I can have the most intimate experience with someone at my retreat or facilitate that. Those people don't even know each other. They've never taken their clothes off. And that will be more lasting to them and more profound than the most intense sexual experience of their life. Because intimacy is very difficult to create. But sex, anyone can have it and anyone can do it. And it can and for those reasons, sex has become quite cheap, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not sacred anymore. People don't see it like that. So I don't subscribe to that whole body count thing. Yes, if I had a daughter, I would tell her, listen, like, this is a very, very serious thing. Like, it's not something to be afraid of. It's not something to be scared about. It is something to do. It's like driving. You don't just start driving when you're 10 or when you're, 12, 13. No, you have to get a driver's permit, a driver's license, take a test, and then you're allowed to proceed to drive on the road, because driving is very dangerous, right? You could permanently delete people, and you could be deleted. So I think that's a huge responsibility. And I feel like sex is the same way. So I would, of course, advise any daughters or women that I cared about that waiting to have sex until they're deeply connected and deeply in love with someone, if not waiting till marriage, is a great idea. Great idea. And yes, go for it. Try to go for it. However, do I think that like putting fear or telling women like this, I don't think that that's serving anything either, because then that's just creating shame in the body, and shame in the body creates all kinds of weird stuff like that fishy smell you were talking about. I don't subscribe to the body count. Do I think less is more with women? Yeah. I think that you should try to stay as pure as you can as long as you can. Absolutely. But we live in today's culture where that just doesn't happen. I was just reading this very freaking, oh gosh, I want to find it so bad. It was this woman who just was getting married, and instead of reading her vows on her wedding day, she read her husband's cheating text messages. Let me see if I can find it. Wife who reads husband's cheating text on wedding. I was crying. I was like, this is just, yeah. Yeah, she read her cheating fiance's text instead of the vows at her wedding. That was crazy. That's crazy. So that's the kind of world that we live in today, right? Being a virgin is almost obsolete today. We know that. It's just very rare that it happens anymore. And so with that being said, I think it's important to educate our daughters and raise them that staying as pure as you can, as long as you can, is ideal. Because it's a very dangerous thing, meaning a high responsibility thing like driving, and you should not go into that lightly, because there can be ramifications if you do so. Just like if you drive a car without going and getting the proper training, the proper license, insurance, etc., then it can be detrimental as well. So that's kind of how I view that. I don't subscribe to that whole, because there's so many women who have, quote, high body counts that get married to high value individuals, if you will, that have very happy lives. So I'm not with it. I'm not with it at all. I don't think it does any good to shame these women into something that they've already done and that they can't take back anyway. I don't know. I just feel that this has just helped to make a lot of people go viral and shaming these women. And it's just not doing any good. It's not doing any good. So yeah, that's what I feel. I know plenty of women with, quote, high body counts, if you will, that have very happy lives, married lives with children, with, and married very successful, wealthy men. So I don't believe it, man. It's really, I think it's a sickness now where men feel like they have this ideology of this woman who's like this virgin, who's never, had sex. She's just like, yes, sir, this, that. She like bows at his feet and things like that. And she has no say, no voice. It's like my, thoughts on that is, why don't you just buy, Elon Musk's new robot? They're like $30,000. They like clean your house and do all that stuff. Or no, is it 30,000? 30,000, I think. I think it was 30,000. 30,000, yeah. And you buy this robot, and they come and then they do chores and things for you. And I think that's kind of like how men are trying to create these women that are just like, don't say anything, don't have a voice. They're just like, yes, master, may I serve you? Like, it's crazy. It's over the top. I think everything in moderation, right? So yeah, so basically I think, oh wait, let's read this one, because this is Everyday Vulva Moisturizer. So this should be interesting. Then I'm going to hop off because I'm hungry. I want a little snack. I'm going to go hang with my son. Okay, so this is Everyday Vulva Moisturizer. Yeah. So what does this do? Basically, it helps to create the sensation so that the arousal, the pleasure points can start to be activated so that a woman has a chance to actually create lubrication on her own and start to feel ready and be open for sex. Because a lot of times women do not want to have it. Number one, because it's painful. Number two, because they can't get wet. Number three, because they're not really even turned on by you, sadly. And number three, because they've had some traumas, some sexual traumas and things that inhibit them from doing so, from really being relaxed. And that's why all these oils are really great with the CBD in them that help to really open up and relax women's. Because once a woman gets open and relaxed, then she's much more willing to like go far with you during sex and to have that like really lasting like sexual experience. She'll go along and want to go again and again if she's really feeling connected, feeling safe, feeling open, feeling vulnerable, and feeling ready to receive. But if you just skip that process over, then it's just you're going to get a few minutes, because we know that's how long y'all are lasting anyways. And it's just it's not a real intimate connection. And that's what I talk about in my book, by the way, that is out. My Kindle's out. I actually was going to bring the hard copy down. It's just the sample to show you because I was so excited, but I forgot. So I will probably just do that. Like, I think, I might film tomorrow again, because Tuesday I'm out of town. So I think I'm just going to film tomorrow. So we're actually going to talk about a great issue tomorrow. I'm really excited. I want to talk about this whole Diddy mess. I think it's very, it's a great topic for me to cover. And then I'll bring the book out. I'll show you guys. Hopefully I can text my boy Glenn and see what I did. Maybe I can get this up for you guys tomorrow, but if not, we're going to be doing a show on Wednesday, so he'll help me then. All right. This has been real for you guys on Apple and Spotify. It really helps me if you just like it. Just like it, give me the 5 stars, say I'm amazing, despite the fact that I spilled tea everywhere, but I'm giving you real and raw intimacy. And I love being able to do this. This is so much fun. And we're going to dive deep into some really cool topics. I have some great shows planned. Obviously, I'm doing more and more lives with collaborative other people. And so those are always fun too. All right, so I'll see y'all tomorrow. That's the plan. And thanks so much for the comments. And I appreciate the support. And I'll see y'all soon. Remember to live with passionate intimacy in your life. If you don't have it, sex is just whatever. Relationships are whatever. But you have that lasting connected intimacy in your sex life, then it's good, and it's worth holding on to. It's worth fighting for. And it's worth like writing books about and telling all your friends, because if you're happy sexually, if you're happy in your intimate sexual relationships, you're happy in life. It's just true. All right, boo. I'll see y'all soon. And thanks so much. And I'm going to see if I can get myself out of here. I think I literally just leave the studio. There it is. I got it, boo. Whoops, I saw it left.